Well, hey, welcome everybody to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Here we are right at the very end of May, about ready to start a brand new month tomorrow. And wow, when we come to the end of something like this month and a special we've had, I imagine that we're going to have some pretty cool questions tonight, right? So, hey, this is Tech Tip Tuesday. My name is Ken Close, and I am a Healy World member, just like most of you guys. I've had a fun experience learning and experiencing what Healy has to offer. And I'm an electronics engineer by trade. I'm going to bring all of my expertise, all of my background, and all of my experience here to the table tonight to help solve some mysteries. But I've got some pretty cool people as helpers and co-hosts here. My amazing co-host, Jake Barron, head of operations for Americas. Hey, Jake.
Hey, everyone.
Hello. And then in the background with the magic vinegars tonight in the chat is going to be Taylor. Welcome, Taylor. Thanks for being here. We so much appreciate you and all of our tech support people, of course. So why are we here? Some of you guys have been here before. You know the drill, how it works. This is a chat-based forum. I know you'd probably love to get on camera and we would love to hear your voice, but that takes a little bit extra time. So we want to make sure that this is as efficient as possible and as much service as possible. So this is a chat-based forum. So please come in, put your questions in the chat. We will unpack those live right here on the call, as well as Taylor will be solving those mysteries in the background with us. So what we can do is work on Pink Dot, Blue Dot, HealAdvisor, the apps, software, maybe the issues, the concepts, the ideas around or questions around how things work. What we can't do is we can't solve any or diagnose any diseases or ailments. We can't really be a medical expert. That's not what we're here for. All right. Does that make sense? Hopefully everybody's got that. So let's let the questions begin. You ready, Jake?
Let's go. Let's get started.
All right, you guys, come on. If you don't put some questions in there, we're going to make something up to talk about. We got some cool stuff coming up. And oh, by the way, I want to mention at the beginning, hopefully we'll remind you towards the end that tomorrow's What's Up Wednesday call has been canceled because we have what? Frequencies and Friends, right? So make sure you're registered for that and, be there. And let me tell you a little hint, even if you can't be there live, register anyway, because the same registration link that you get upon registration, that invitation link, will be the same portal or link you can use to get into the recording. So you can watch it whenever you want, review it as many times as you like. Okay. All right. Let's see. So right off the bat, we have Davis asking, I'm having problems with Bluetooth. Okay. Like what? Is it just not turned on in your phone? Are you having a hard time connecting? I hear that often with Bluetooth. There's some standard solutions. When was the last time you actually cycled your smart device off and back on? One of the things that we need to do is allow some of our smart devices to not really reboot, but resync with apps. And the Bluetooth on your smart device is an app in itself. It accesses very specific hardware in your smart device. So if you're having troubles with your Bluetooth, here's a step, or there's only 3. Step 1, go into your settings, turn your Bluetooth off. Step 2, turn your smart device off. And then step 3, turn it back on and then turn your Bluetooth back on. So that kind of clears the cache a little bit. Okay. All right. Questions. Jake, you got one?
Just below that, we've got a question about the Pink Dot apps. There's having some issues in Apple products. This particular person's having, when you scan the code, so the QR code, it just stops. So I've heard of issues not being able to scan it, properly read that QR code, but as far as it stopping, typically it just doesn't scan and then you have to type it in manually at that point. So I haven't heard of any other issue above and beyond that to where it just stops or something like that. Have you, Ken? Just typically you just have to type it in at that point?
Yeah, we've had some issues recently with the Pink Dot app locking up essentially, or recycling through a not passing a specific command. In other words, just going right back to the beginning. And so that's actually probably what's going on with yours. It gets stuck or stops. And instead of the smart device recycling the app, it's just getting stuck right there. Remember, the smart device is interfacing with the app. The CPU is trying to figure out what the program is trying to tell it to do, and then go back and interface with the software. And so it gets stuck. There was been a problem. So, I mean, the clearing process to that is, and there's some instructions that have been posted on the Team Healy USA. Please, everyone, become a member of the Team Healy USA. It's for the US, it's for everybody. And we post all kinds of things in there, identifying what's going on. And so here's a quick solution. I don't know if it's quick, but here's a solution. One thing you can do to try this out is to open the app from your app store. Go to the app store and find the app, the Pink Dot app, the Healy app. And you'll see something when you go to that app store. You're going to see a blue tab that's either going to say update or open. If it says update, that means there's an update waiting within the app to fix whatever bugs or stuff that's going on. If it just says open, that's okay. Just go ahead and open it from there, because it's actually kind of a fresh program, essentially, for your smart device to start to function from. If that doesn't do any good, then delete the app. Okay. Delete the Pink Dot app, close your smart device, shut it off, turn it back on, and then reinstall the app and try it again. So anything else you want to add?
No, just a fresh install has fixed that issue for most people in this case. So
Yep. Okay. Any programs you won't use with coil, or you would rather use with the straps only? It's a great question. And the different modalities in which you're interfacing with the body, they're kind of like heads and tails on the same coin, right? It's the same coin, but they're doing different. There's different pathways in which it's interfacing with the body. The wristbands are directly interfacing with electron flow in your body. Okay, very much engaged with the electrons within the cell, the energy of the cell, very much engaged. In other words, kind of a direct battery charger to your body. Let's use this analogy for a moment. How many of you guys have a wireless charger for your smart device? You can just take your smart device, your watch, whatever, and just set it on a pad and it starts charging. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So that uses what's called magnetic induction to send energy into a receiver in your phone. Magnetic induction. Now, go the other way. You know, when you plug the cord in to the bottom of your smart device or the top, wherever it plugs in, so that's electron flow. That's a direct infusion of energy into the smart device, both charging the battery, yes, but one uses magnetic induction, the other uses electron flow, and one's faster than the other, right? Typically the direct plug-in is a bit faster. So this is the difference. It's a difference. You know, which would I use the coil with versus another? I swap them out. I literally swap them out. And there's some programs not designed for the coil. And there's a way you can tell the ones that are created, or I should say optimized for coil use, has a little icon at the top right of the, I can actually maybe share my phone. The top right of the screen, there's a little icon, a little connect, the dots icon. That means it's optimized for the coil. And by the way, folks, when you go to choose the app or the program within the app, it tells you this program is for use with the coil. Mm-hmm. All right. Pretty easy, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, Ken, there's, as Taylor put in the chat, anything with that icon, so you certainly can use the coil, but as you kind of pointed out, maybe there's some other programs you can use the coil, but you might get additional benefits from using the microcurrent directly with the wristbands. I know you, since you're the workout expert there, you certainly know about that. So
yeah, when we're working with the cells in the body, I honestly use both. I will simultaneously use the Healy. And this one's connected to my body right now. This one is the coil. They're both on me at the same time. I hack the signal like crazy. Not all day, but when I'm perfect, like right now. So I'm running the program memory through the wristbands. So if I seem smarter than normal, this is just my Healy. But at the same time, over here, I'm running coherence. What's that mean? I have a coherent signal with my memory. I'm just hacking both at the same time, right? And coherence with everybody else. So, okay. Why?
Question. Oh, sorry. I don't think I was going to read that same one there, Ken, from Ashley. Why is the HealAdvisor app grayed out for some new Healy users? And is there a way to fix it without submitting a ticket? So I'm thinking what's happening here, the HealAdvisor app itself, when someone brand new makes a purchase, it's not added at the time of purchase access to it. It's added within the first week free of charge. So if they order their Healy, they get it like 2 or 3 days later, they might not have access to it yet. They have to wait approximately a week for that to be added. I mean, at that point, it shouldn't be grayed out anymore. They should be able to use it. So if it's a new user, I'm kind of guessing that that's what the situation might be here. Just might need to wait a couple more days for that to be activated.
We were trying to double team your question there, Ashley. So it's like, we're on you like crazy. There we go. Magic. Okay. Let's see. Janine's saying it doesn't work even when typed. So I'm assuming you're talking about when you're trying to scan the QR code and it's still, even when you type it, it's not working. So my guess, if it's just freezing, the app is just freezing right there, it's probably that app issue. Now, I mean, that's not the only one, but the resetting or redoing of your app probably is going to cure that. I would test that if you could while we're still on the call. Mm-hmm. And let's see how that does. Okay. We'd be happy to hear your success story. Let's see. Auto sync, the list sync is turned off. When should those be run? Okay. Dixie is asking, she's got the auto sync and the list sync turned off on her. She's talking about the blue dot on the Resonance app. The synchronization process is turned off. Manually, you can do that. You can go in there and turn those off. And there's actually some advantage to that. So that because every time you open the blue dot, it's going to automatically try to synchronize. And if you're not in a great spot of Wi-Fi or cellular data transfer, somewhere the signal's weak, it could take a long time. And that will take necessary resources for doing a scan or entering a client or whatever work you want to do with the app, because in the background, it's trying to sync. And the way you can tell that that's happening is just take a look at the app itself. At the bottom right corner, that gear is sitting there spinning. Right? That means it's trying to synchronize in the background. And you're like, trying to enter a client. Most people don't even notice that's going on. But if you have it turned off, then now you don't have to worry about that, which is good. But I recommend that you at least do a manual sync once a week, at least. And now let's say that you're working with a lot of clients and you're doing lists every day. Now, I would say do that at the end of the day. Do it every day, because you don't want to lose any valuable content in case maybe you have to reset the app or something odd. But I would recommend you do it at the end of the day. Now, I would not do it at the end of a promo month because there's a lot of stuff going on and it may slow down. Remember, the same server that's housing our client lists and our cloud account is the same server that's operating the shop and many other things. So I would maybe not do it on the end of the end of a month. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Jake?
No, you got it.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
How do we manually put in the master key? Well, you can't type it in. It's 4,096 bits of content. What's that mean? It's like dots and squares and circles and letters, and 4,096 of them in a big old mess of combinations. So this is the encrypted code that keeps your cloud account only able to be synced or accessed by you, and that's it. So you're not going to put it in manually. You just make sure you have that file in its entirety saved on your smart device, as well as email it to yourself. So it's what I call offsite. So your email, even though you're looking at it on your smart device, is still housed on a server somewhere else. You're just downloading the content to your smart device so you can view it. Does that make sense? So the fact that you've sent it to yourself somewhere means it's also offsite. That file is somewhere safe. If you're trying to sync up your Blue Dot and you need the master key, then it first needs to be saved to your smart device, or the program won't find it. The Blue Dot app won't find it. Okay. Lots of content on that. MyDeviceHelp.com. There's like over 5 hours of me and another member just deep diving into that stuff. So you get tired of seeing us. If you get tired of seeing our face, it's all hyperlinked. Just search underneath the video, go to mydevicehelp.com, search under the video, everything's hyperlinked, and you can just look for master key and you'll see the content about how to utilize it. All right. Woo. Okay, Janine, come on, give us some good news. Healy Coil, not for blue. I'm assuming you're talking about Blue Dot. It's not designed for that. No, it wasn't made for the Blue Dot. It's made for the microcurrent, which is the pink dot. That's what it's made for.
Yeah, I think it seems like every other Tech Tip Tuesday, you typically get that question, Ken, about is there any benefit or negative effect of having the coil on there when you're running programs in the Blue Dot app. So we certainly, if you want to, you can go back and review, search for on our YouTube page, HealAdvisor.com for that question there, coil and the Analyze app. And you'll find some segments that we did on that on prior calls too. So,
this is cool that we are seeing. I mean, a lot of the same questions, because this is a great curiosity. It's a point in which people are like curious, and maybe I want to push the envelope a little bit, right? You're my people right there. but definitely use the resources out there so that there's a lot to be learned on the YouTube page. Why the website or the URL is HealyAmericas.com, right? But the YouTube page name is Healy. What is it? Healy World Americas.
Healy World Americas is the name of it, but the URL is HealyAmericas.com.
Yeah. Healy World Americas is the YouTube page. Go there on your YouTube account and subscribe, and then click on the little bell so you can get notifications, because every time this call right here will be posted. And Jake does an awesome job of taking all the content, dividing it up into relevant subject matters, and putting a hyperlink. So you can just search. And the cool thing about that hyperlink, you can actually copy and paste just that hyperlink to somebody, to your friend, to your partners, to your members, to your teammates. Like, how many times you're getting the same question over and over again, right? Go find those resources that you need from those recordings and save them into a file on your smart device or on your computer that's called Master Key. Put everything about Master Key in there, all those hyperlinks, right? Now you can send somebody this huge plethora of content or just one piece. You don't have to send everything. Some things are redundant because the instruction is the instruction. All right. Jim asks, go ahead.
Oh, I forgot where we were here, but I had a question from David, who's using the HealAdvisor natural cycle and wants to know how you reset the start date, because he must have skipped forward a bunch of sessions because he's currently at February 4th, 2024. So he's living into the future and is going to be waiting a long time to start that next cycle. So if you've gone ahead, accidentally skipped some sessions completely, I would just go ahead and delete the HealAdvisor app itself, do a fresh install there, and then it'll ask you to calculate the start date. And when you do that this time, it'll calculate it as June 21st, which is the start of the summer solstice here as well. So if you want to get back to something a little closer to the present day, that's definitely the way to go.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely projecting your future self. Right on. Okay. So let's see. Where was I? I had a question Jim was asking.
From Jim, you said.
Now where did it go? Man, you guys are keeping us on our toes here.
He was asking, I think when you do the biohacking, the coil and the wristbands, if you do it every day, I guess he was asking.
Are there any contraindicators to that? If any contraindicators that Healy has, it's going to be around pacemakers, epilepsy, nervous dysfunctions like that. Any electronic triggering devices within the body to support life, then microcurrent is a contraindicator. It's like, no, don't use it. I don't have any of those. So I hack the body like crazy, and using both of those modalities, first of all, my body will help sort out what it needs and does not need. Now, can that also feel uncomfortable? Yes, but so does working out. How many of you guys have had a crushing workout and can't walk the next day, right? That's poor recovery. All that is just poor recovery. It's not that you did a bad workout. It's just that your body is poorly doing its repair, recovery, and growth cycle. Now, that has to do with chemistry. It also has to do with psychology. So if we optimize our repair, recovery, and growth cycle, we can have a crushing workout and not suffer paralyzation the next day, right? So, and that's what I do. That's what I do. And just look at it. Think about what makes sense. What makes sense? Coherence almost makes sense with any combination of programs, almost any, because what? You're building coherence. What's coherence? It's differentiation with an association. It's both. It's both. You've got a differentiation of possibility and where you are, and an association with where you want to go. So it's flexibility and stability, right? That's coherence. Wow. I like that for me. All right. What else we got? Let's see. The clip on the back of the Healy broke for at least 4 people on my team. What do I do? Did that already get answered? Because tech support, or because a ticket will help you. Putting in a ticket. There's actually a very specific spot within the ticket system that says broken clip, and you can.
Yeah, Taylor put some notes in there, asking to also include a picture of the back, because we need to determine if it's just the clip itself that broke, or if the housing of the Healy broke as well, which in that case, then the actual device would need to be replaced and not just a new clip. So. Okay,
great question here. And I don't know if it's already been answered, but how do I get rid of the sound notifications on my Healy? And when I'm on a call or something, I get it. So in the app itself, when you go to your Pink Dot app, the top left corner of the app, there's those 3 little bars, affectionately known by Freddie called it the hamburger. I love that. The hamburger, top left. Click on that, scroll all the way to the bottom. There is a settings tab. Click on settings, and at the top, there's notification. There's 2 sections. One is the sound notification. And then the other is the, there's 2. There's the top 2. Turn sound off and turn notifications off. And I want you to logically think about this for a minute with me. So if you see the word turn sound off, that would probably mean that sound is on. Yes. Okay. So if you click it, it's going to say turn sound on, right? And that means, okay, obviously sound is off. So just use that logic when you're trying to make your choices. I have people going, is it on or is it off? Well, what's the command? If it says turn sound on, that must mean it's off. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm having fun, guys. Are you having fun? I'm having a good time. Let's just have fun. Where are we, Jake?
I'm going back up here. I think we didn't get, there was a follow-up on one of the questions related to Bluetooth and the Pink Dot app. So to follow the instructions for the Bluetooth and deleted the Pink app and reinstalled, the Bluetooth still is not working and the app doesn't recognize my device. So was part of the instructions we gave earlier to do a hard reset in this case, maybe? Because that they've deleted and reinstalled and they're still not getting a Bluetooth connection. I'm wondering if there's something else going on above and beyond that. Or also if you're able to connect to your, if you have a Resonance edition, if you're able to connect to the Analyze app via Bluetooth, but if this is limited just to the Pink Dot app or what? But
well, okay. So guys, any hardware or firmware version 229 and above. So 226 is the older model, but the new ones are all 229. The app now has a function at the top, a little blue or a little green switch at the top that says turn Bluetooth off. If you've accidentally turned Bluetooth off, then what that does is it shuts off the Bluetooth chip inside the Healy hardware, turns it off. And so you can turn your Healy on, open the app, and it will stay off. So the way you turn that back on, if you've done that accidentally or on purpose, is you actually have to press the on button twice on your Healy. So press, right? And then open your app. And then that Bluetooth function will be turned back on. Even if you haven't, if you've turned it off before and it's asking you to scan the QR code, it means it's disconnected from that Healy, right? If this is a brand new occasion, which you're just now starting the Pink Dot app, that's a different story. But just make sure you recognize the possibility that if that has been turned off, the Bluetooth has been turned off on the app, then you have to press the on button for that to reset the Bluetooth chip. Okay. All right. So try some of those things while we're on the call. Okay. So Bluetooth still isn't working. How do I get the new device that works? Okay. So Davis, it says you don't need a new device. He says the Bluetooth's still not working. How do I get a new device that works? Okay. It's probably not the device. So we just need to get it working again or get it turned back on.
And they mentioned they put the ticket in 12 hours ago. We just came off of a long holiday weekend here in the US. So definitely be on a lookout though for an update soon to your ticket from our tech support team. But we're not at the point yet where we're answering in general same day tickets. But
so Davis, let's do this together. Go to your smart device and hard close all your apps. Do you know how to do that? If you don't, go to YouTube. I promise you there's an amazing video on how to hard close all the apps on Android or iPhone or whatever you've got. So hard close all the apps, okay? Once you've got all of the apps in the background hard closed. Now this is important because that hard close function frees up CPU resources on your smart device. It also frees up Bluetooth connections. You can have more than one device connected to your Bluetooth portal on your smart device. Okay, so we're going to free all that up. We're going to free all that up. All right, by hard closing everything. Number 2, go ahead to your settings, turn your Bluetooth off. Go to your settings after you've done all that. And if you're still hard closing all your apps, we'll wait till you catch up. I mean, I have this happen all the time. People say, I don't have any apps open. I said, okay, well, how do you hard close an app? I don't know. Well, and I guarantee you have a lot of apps open because if you don't know how to close them, you haven't closed any. So go back in there and do all that. All right. Then the next phase, like I said, go to your Bluetooth settings, turn it off. Then turn your smart device off. All right. Give it about 10 seconds. Just leave it off. All right. Then go ahead and turn your smart device back on. Go into settings, turn your Bluetooth back on. Now, here's the next important piece. Turn your Healy on first. Okay. Turn your Healy on first. Watch the green light start to flash. Then open your pink dot app. Open it. All right. When the pink dot app opens, it's going to ask permission. You have to read the disclaimer, say, okay. Then it's going to say, I have a Healy. Click on I have a Healy. Number 2, click on search for Healy. When it searches for Healy, it's going to then see a Healy Bluetooth signal. That's a very distinct signal, different than your headphones, different than your boombox, different than your microphone. It's a different Bluetooth signal. And once it finds that, it's going to then ask you to scan the serial number. That's a distinct process. And once you then try scanning that serial number, then right there, tell us how it goes. I'm super curious. All right.
Yep.
What else we got? Anybody? Are we all caught up?
Almost, not quite. We have this question about those questions, is there a video or easy explanation on how to transfer a device? So that's actually, there isn't a video available, but that's a good idea for us to create a short, our tech support team has been making some great, 2-minute long tutorials on some of the more common processes through the support center, how to submit a ticket, those type of things. And those videos are available on our Healy World America's YouTube page as well. But this is a common one. So this would be a good one, I think would be helpful to show where you go to. There's a specific device transfer request category in the support center and back office, and then we could show the information that's required. So it always has to come from the person, the original owner of the device. Whoever the owner is needs to log into their support center, submit the ticket, and then there's a couple required information for that person. Of course, who it's coming from, and then who it's going to. You're going to need their name. They're going to have a Healy account already. So if it's somebody new, they need to enroll as a Healy member or customer without a purchase. If they're a brand new person, because they need an account with Healy before we can transfer that device to them. But you're going to want to include the name, username, email, the serial number that's being transferred to that individual, and then also phone number as well. So that's actually, I don't know, maybe by next week we can have a video available on our page here and we can kind of show you, but it's a pretty simple process. And if you submit the ticket and the information's incomplete, our support team will just, get back to you and let you know which additional information that we need to complete that transfer request. So.
And that's super great idea. I love all these. And that YouTube page is like magic. I mean, I love it. It's super helpful, super amazing. When somebody's having struggles, send them to that YouTube page. It's like sprinkling magic pixie dust on them. Here you go. It's like, okay. All right. So empower our people. How about that? What's causing, here's a good one. What is causing the program to abruptly stop and go to a blue screen when tap says no options? Okay. Yeah, I'm assuming this is a blue dot function or miss function. There's been some things like that, and it's been brought up to IT, and there's an update coming, right? That's there. This is a thing. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is a thing, and some people are experiencing this. I haven't actually myself, but I do know some who have, and that's important that there is an update coming. Do we have any updates? Any updates on the update, Jake?
I don't have an update on the update as far as when the update's coming, but I know it's being worked on, and we'll certainly make an announcement on this call once we have maybe a timeline or when we know for sure it'll be released in the App Store.
Yeah. So how do you get around that? The workaround right now is to shut the app down, shut everything down, right? And reset it, redo it. Now, you might even, I don't like deleting the app for every little misfunction or misfire, but sometimes that's necessary. So you can do a backup. So in your Blue Dot app, go to and do a full synchronization with the cloud. So all of your content is now pushed up to your cloud account and safe. Go ahead and do that. And then once that's done, you can delete the app. You can do a hard reset on the Healy. You guys know how that's done. Press and hold the on button. Hold that power button down until the green light comes on solid. Release the button and it'll stay solid for about 3 seconds and then go off. That's a hard reset of the Healy. Okay, then go ahead and reconnect to everything, right? Turn the Healy on first by itself, then the app, and reconnect to the app. All right, give that a shot. The last resort is to delete the app and reinstall it, but that's why I told you first to do a backup, do a full backup, full sync before you do that. Okay. So Paulette says, perhaps some things aren't working because their phone needs to be updated. Happened to me. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. We have to start at the source when we're using a smart device, apps, and Healy hardware. What's the source? The smart device, right? And remember, there are some smart devices. People are getting multiple devices so they can run more Healys, multiple Healys at once. And some of the other devices they're getting, or maybe some older devices, there is a minimum operating system that's necessary in order for the smart device to function on or for the Healy apps to function on the smart device. So for Apple, that's a minimum of 11.0. And I think actually on some of the hardware, it's the same for the Android, is the 11.0. But some, you can actually go to the app on your smart device. If you go to the App Store and you go to the Blue Dot app and you look under information, it'll tell you if this device is compatible, or it'll tell you the compatible devices. There's a list, and you can see if that particular device that you're searching from is actually compatible. It's kind of cool. All right. What other magic can we do? Ooh. Wow. 38 minutes into the call and we are caught up. Oh, nope. Jim says, nope, there's more here. So you got 2 Healys, your original Resonance, and a second that you purchased online when we had our first one while attending the Healy event in California. Okay. I've not been able to locate the seller I purchased the second Healy from online. Ooh, okay. I have upgraded the original Healy to professional. Is there a way I can achieve access to the professional programs on the second Healy? Yeah, that's an interesting one, because whenever we purchase something online and that person that owns it didn't assign it to our account via serial number. I mean, this is an honest way you got it, but think of from the deceptive way where somebody's stealing a Healy. Oh, I just bought this and I can't, update. So the company is going to be very diligent about protecting the owner of the Healy. So I don't know. I mean, Jake, any ideas?
This is actually the first time anyone's ever asked to transfer the addition from one to the other. Transfer device, yes, from one person to the other, but take the addition from one of that one and transfer to the one that you have in your possession there. So I'm actually not there. There might be a process in place for this already. So I would, if you want to ask the question to our support team, they might have more experience with this particular issue than me, since they deal with all kinds of things every single day. So I would just explain the situation in a support ticket, and maybe there is something we can do that I'm unaware of. But.
Yeah, well, the challenge that I see here is the fact that Jim purchased a device online from somebody, right? And it didn't get transferred to his account.
Yeah. So if you submit the ticket, any proof of purchase you have from that sale would certainly be helpful too, to show that where you bought it from and what the page said, any screenshots, anything like that, to show that this was a legit sale may help. But
yeah, that's a tough one. I know that we want to protect both sides, right? I mean, the company wants to protect both sides. So
yeah, it's definitely not the first time someone's bought a device online and hasn't been able to get it transferred over to them because the original owner disappeared or was gone or wasn't willing to do that. So
yeah. Okay, so Dixie, we answered this question earlier. Auto sync and list sync is turned off. When should I run it? When should you turn it on and run auto sync? We answered this earlier. As I mentioned, if you are using your blue dot and you're putting in customers, or I should say clients, and doing a lot of lists and creating a lot of content, you should do that synchronization manually. If you've got auto sync off, you're going to have to do it manually. Then do it every day. If you're not doing a lot of that analysis or scanning, and you're not doing a lot of lists or generating a lot of content, you could do it, even once a week. But that's kind of up to the frequency or the amount of content you're creating. Just like a business. If you have a business, folks, that you got a business and you're running sales every day, at the end of the day, in order for you to get paid, say through a credit card system, you have to batch out the merchant account so that all the content is going in and you're getting paid, right? Every day you do that. At the end of the day, you count all your money, you make some ledger content or whatever the way you do it. Typically it's a daily process. So this is the same kind of idea. If you're doing a lot of work with it every day, you want to save it. All right. I would love to see, honestly, a way of remotely saving content, our own content. I mean, that would be kind of cool. Remotely being able to, not necessarily a server, but having a way of accessing a memory card some way that, that we can save content just in case the server's down and we have a problem. We have to delete the app or something, as we got this little saved spot. That would be another function, but hey, let's put that out there. All right. Let's see. Michaela said that I just had my Vitalisation program stopped in my Pink app on my Pro. I see the page, but is pale orange. So not active. Okay, so tell me this. You're in the Pink dot. At the top of the screen is the wavy bar at the top of the screen, fuchsia or white? Okay, fuchsia or white, kind of a purplish color. The reason I'm asking is because you all know what I'm talking about. When you're on a page, whatever the program you're running is color relevant to the subject matter, right? So if we're talking about the bioenergetic vitalization, that's kind of a salmon color, like the color of Jake and I's shirts today. But at the top above that wavy bar is white. That means the app is functioning properly. When there's a malfunction, you'll see that bar up there turn kind of a fuchsia color, kind of this pinkish color you see here on my screen. So, and so if there's issues with it stopping, then there's a malfunction. So she says it's white.
So she mentioned though the page is pale orange with white at the top now, but so is this just the end screen that you're talking about? Because at the end where it's, you successfully completed it, that's typically, I guess is the question, are you wondering why it stopped? Maybe it stopped early, something like that? Or is it stuck, or what is the actual issue?
Yeah, what's the actual malfunction, right?
Yeah. So.
All right. Can't choose a program.
Yeah, so just can't choose a program.
Yeah, that's okay. So if you're running the Pink dot, when you've run into some kind of malfunction, so it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of a program or if it's the end of the program, well, it doesn't matter. You're not going to regain the function. It's a malfunction. Hard close the app. Just, you're not going to be able to gain access again. It's on purpose. When the app malfunctions, rather than do something incorrectly with the utilization of the Healy hardware, it's going to lock you out. That's better than it doing something incomplete. So hard close the app, shut off your Healy, restart things. Okay. And if you have to do it more than once, then do it more than once. But it's possible. I mean, normally when we start having problems is because the resources are low, or the software has a glitch or a malfunction somewhere within it. Those are really the only two things. I mean, the Healy hardware is pretty reliable, and it's typically an interface between the two. All right. So I say shut it down, hard stop the program, hard close everything else in the background. Then start with number one, turn the Healy back on first. You might even just do a hard reset on the Healy before turning it on. Then it's going to clear any cache memory in the Healy. Okay. And then turn the app on and reconnect. Get a reconnect first. Try your app back. You try your program again. So what I just say, let's review it. Hard close all the apps on your smart device. Okay. Reset the Healy by holding 10 seconds, release, reset. Then turn the Healy back on. Then open the app and reconnect. You're going to have to scan the QR code again. That's okay. Reestablishing connection. And then try that program again. If it happens, do it again. If it's chronic, then you've got something going on with the app. You're going to need to delete it. When this smart device, guys, when this smart device gets full, the memory gets kind of close to full. In other words, there's a lot of apps, there's a lot of pictures, there's a lot of content, there's a lot of whatever on the smart device. The resources for it using, or the resources it uses to operate the Healy apps becomes limited. And Healy apps are resource hungry. They want to have a lot of resources. They want a lot of memory. They want your Bluetooth signal to be all its own. You know, it wants no other things sharing your Bluetooth signal. So if you guys have a lot of Bluetooth things in your Bluetooth cache, so in other words, if you open your Bluetooth, go to settings, open your Bluetooth, and take a look at all the things that you've connected to. Now, here's another thing. Are any of them connected right now? Right? Wow. You might see, wow, I got 2 things connected. What the heck are connected to my Bluetooth? Right? Then when you go to try to connect Healy, it's sharing that resource of Bluetooth. So you gotta stop that. Go to those others and turn them off. Yeah, the little eye or the little icon next to that line item of the Bluetooth is turned on. You can click on it. You can say turn off. Disconnect is what it says. You can just disconnect from that device, whatever it is. And then you can go back and connect your Healy. Okay. All right. Are we caught up, Jake? Can we get off early tonight? I don't know. What do you think?
We are caught up. So
this is the first time that's ever happened. I've been doing this for over a year and I've never been caught up. But I like it. I mean, 2 things are going on here. I think we've got amazing resources. That YouTube page, guys, amazing resource to have this library of content, hours and hours of content. This is wonderful. And, you know, thank you, Jake, for building that and continue to populate that. And now customer service is building awesome little snippets of how-tos. Wow. And, oh yeah. Paula says people are on vacation. No, it's not. It's Tuesday. Get back to work. Come on. Vacation was over yesterday. No, celebrate. Take that vacation. It's Memorial Weekend, you guys. It's time to remember and be grateful for the freedoms we have. So I'm all in with that. Take as much time as you want and celebrate that. I'll celebrate with you after this call. Okay. Kathy says, I have a new iPhone. My Healy master key is gone. Can I sign in and keep my my contacts in my Resonance? So yes, if you did a backup, to the cloud from the app from your old smart device, and then with your new smart device, you're simply going to need the master key to access it. Where's the master key? Well, hopefully you emailed it to yourself. Okay. And it's somewhere in your email. You can download it to the new device, the new smart device. Okay. If it's an Apple device, you probably have an Apple cloud, an iCloud. And if you've got these synchronization permissions turned on, then you probably have things saved in the cloud that you could download to this new device. When you typically do a refresh on this new device, all that content winds up populating. Apps and things you saved, all that's repopulated on the new device. So go to your email and see if you emailed it to yourself, that master key, because you're going to need that master key. And there's a new update coming where that master key becomes not so relevant. For now, that's what we got to do. All right. What else we got? Linda says, I see that Canadians with US addresses are not able to order additions from the shop. Is this permanent till Canada opens? No. If you are in Canada, but you create an account with a US address, you can order product and they ship to that US address. You can't ship them to Canada, but you can ship them to the US address as a US Canadian. Again, it's like, okay, I'm living in Canada right now, but I just moved to US and opened my account, right? And you can get product at that address. And then when Canada opens, you'll just move, quote unquote, move back to Canada, right? But no, you should be with a US address. Remember, you can be Canadian with a US account. Remember, it's a US account and it's a US address. So in other words, when you go to your account content, there's a US flag there. It means your account is US, and then you can purchase products and be sent to the address on your account. Anything you want to add to that, Jake?
No, I mean, Canada's coming soon. We're looking at early first week of July here. So it'll certainly make things easier once we are fully open there and ready to go. But the month of June is going to be a lot of transition for people that have ordered through the US and want to move their official account from the US to Canada. And we're going to have probably by the end of next week some sort of official communication as far as what those types of processes will be and what's required as well. Because as you switch your country, there's a whole KYC process in order to verify all this information and stuff as well, and move from the US entity to the official Canadian entity and things like that. But we'll have a detailed guide on all that in the next week or two.
So here's a great little statement here. Kathy says, I have 4 Healys and can't find the right master key. How soon is this update coming? So there's only one master key to your account. Only one master key to your account. Okay, remember what's the purpose of the master key? Well, for the pink dot, you don't need a master key. For the pink dot, it uses the serial number on the back of your device to access what edition you purchased, and then download the proper programs to the app associated with your edition. Now, all of the programs are there associated with your edition, whatever you purchased, based on the serial number. The blue dot, however, because it's going to put sensitive content into a memory bank, into a server, you've got to have a master key to access it. but there's only one master key to your account, right? You can have various dated versions of it. It's the same content within the master key. So you can save master key 1,000 times and have 1,000 different master keys in your memory banks of your smart device. And you'll have different numbers on them. That's just a date code in which you saved it, but the content in the file is the same. It's the same key. You can make 1,000 keys for your car, and they all open and run your car, but they all look the same, right? They can be green, blue, silver, copper, whatever. The same key works the same tumblers. The master key is the same. It's for your account. So they will access all of your Healys. All of them. You just got to make sure that the master key is on the smart device in which you're trying to load the Blue Dot program on and access with the Healy. It's got to be on the smart device. It's got to be a physical file on your smart device so they can then implement it into the software or the Blue Dot program and then unlock the access to your cloud. Make sense? It's a cool process.
Linda had an add-on question for that. She said, isn't the master key for each email address? So technically, yeah, because there's one master key per account. There's one email address per account. So yes, you could say it that way as well. There's one master key per email address per account or whatever. It's not a single master key for each device. But if for some reason there was in your family, you might have multiple accounts from some of the family members, then yes, they would each have their own master key. If you have 4 devices in your household and 4 different people using them, 4 different accounts, that kind of thing as well. So it really just depends on that situation too.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really make a general statement, I guess, of without knowing all the details there. But
there's a lot of detail. Each account has its own master key.
Yeah.
Each account. And of course, what differentiates an account? An email. I mean, there's an email assigned to every account.
Yeah.
So it's just logical. One master key per account, one email per account. You could, the same house, like Jake said, could have lots of accounts. Okay. Yeah, as far as that update that's coming, it's a technical thing in the works, but I don't know. All right. Kathy says, mahalo, Ken and Jake Taylor, for sharing. Thank you very much. Love the kudos. Appreciate that. Yep. Charges me up. That's why I'm here. Sorry, Linda, I wasn't able to get the promo. Yeah. So I would love to know. I mean, it said a certain time, UTC time, but yet the promo shut down early. Any ideas what went on there, Jake? I don't know.
I don't, I mean, this is something that I'm sure we'll have an update tomorrow regarding this as well. But all this types of the promos, the shop, digital, that's all sort of handled set over in Germany. So we don't have sort of the ability to change that. But this particular issue, this wasn't just the US, this was a global thing. It was the Europe shop, the Asia Pacific shop, US shop as well. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be some sort of an official notification coming soon.
Yeah, it was, wow. I mean, I'm on many of the chat groups and top leadership groups, and it lit up. It's like, sorry guys. I mean, this is a global company with lots of intricate pieces. If you understood the infrastructure behind the scenes of the interface with the software, your mind would blow up. I know how it works. I understand the theory of operation, how things work. And I'm like, kudos, Healy. Love you. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, team, for being so patient with us, all of our issues and questions. That's why we're here. I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, I think I calculated the number of recordings that we have. There's a lot of hours, but every single one has a new little tidbit that might be useful. And everybody who gets on board a call like this is here for a reason. And whatever you gain, please take it out there and share it. Just makes you more resourceful, more a better leader, better use of your Healys, and more healthy. So here we go, guys. We're at the end of the hour. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh. Anything last ones you want to add there, Jake?
No, just a reminder, as you mentioned earlier, for Frequencies and Friends tomorrow. That call is at noon Eastern time, so 9 a.m. Pacific. I put the link into the chat earlier on this call. If you haven't registered yet for that call, you can go ahead and do so. I'll put it in again now here at the end if you want to. Go ahead and make sure you register. And as Ken mentioned, you can access, if you can't watch it live, access that recording later through that link. So
it's also in the Telegram group, everybody. So you can go to the Telegram group and see it. And if you don't know how to search within the Telegram group, if you're on your PC at the top near the group name, there's a little search icon. Use it there. If you're on your mobile device, tap on that banner at the top. It'll put you into a search function, and you can type in the word frequency, just frequency, or frequency and friends, or frequency with friends, whatever. All of the posts that are in there relevant to that topic will show up, and you can then register. So please register. Even if you don't think you can be there tomorrow, register and then go back and take a look, because you're going to hear from somebody, oh my gosh, you should have been on the call. And you go, yep, I should have. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Much love. I appreciate your participation and look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.